last week we had Van Halen, and now we're back for 1971, the year I was born. The best part of 1971 is right here. But I got a nice little list of really cool things that happened in 71 that I'm going to start with, if you guys don't mind. The first thing, Walt Disney World in Florida opens up for the first time in 1971.
71.
Pretty big thing.
Really? Wow. That was before that.
Charles Manson and his followers were sentenced in
I
1971.
love Charles Manson.
Little music reference, Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
A little unknown person goes by the name of D.B. Cooper, hijacked a plane, stole everything, and jumped out and disappeared forever. Kind of a big thing.
I still think
Historical
DB Cooper and
note,
Michael Jackson
Satchel
are the same person.
Paige.
What did you say, Joe?
I still think DB Cooper and Michael Jackson are the same person.
They probably are. And LaToya.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, LaToya. That's
Well, stop listening to your mainstream media.
Right? Canada,
Sorry.
you only have to hear half of Canadian music. All right, so the other big thing, Satchel Paige, first Negro League player to be inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame. Huge. That's a huge thing.
Massive.
This one blew my mind. Are you ready for this? All four Beatles had solo albums, and a Beatle albums was on the chart in 1971.
Yeah.
wow.
Jim Morrison died in a bathtub.
Fuck it, Jimmy.
Paris. And a really famous fire happened. Frank Zappa was playing a concert at the Montreux Casino. It burns down. Made famous by what song, guys?
Smoke on the water.
Yes.
In the sky.
One more big thing to note. At the Grammys in 1971, the best new artist was the Carpenters.
Oh, Carrie Harper she was a kick-ass drummer.
Canadian.
Dude. Kick-ass drummer.
Canadians.
Carpenters made my extended list. Did not make the list that we'll compare tonight, but I went to like 80, and they're on the list.
One
I
more
just
big
found out this
note.
year. I just found out this year what a great drummer she was.
Yeah, she was a badass.
Yeah.
So one more big thing to note. At the Grammys, the Song of the Year and the Album of the Year by the same songwriting duo beats out the Beatles' Let It Be. Do you know who that was?
A duo? Be myself. I don't know.
Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over
really?
Troubled Water.
Wow.
Shit. That was a fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
so,
going to say Milli Vanilli, but
well, that was a blank tape. So, all right. So we got 1971, guys. This podcast is called the Just Ranked Pod. You can catch us out on all of the socials. We're everywhere, hopefully. And we're going to start out, and I believe Joe is starting this episode, right?
no, I am.
Dink.
Dink
you're
is.
starting?
Yeah.
Dink's
All right,
starting.
let's do this, Dink.
And I am starting strong with a heavy cough. I am starting. My number 4 is Sweet Leaf from Black Sabbath. Pretty standard at the cough intro, the dirty, dark sounds of Sabbath. Ward is probably one of my, Jimmy, I don't know if you agree, but one of my favorite drummers of all time.
Yep.
And he's phenomenal in this song. He's phenomenal in all their stuff. Geezer's pretty good in this. Ozzy's
Geezer
fairly
Butler.
coherent.
Yeah, dude.
And, Tony's always good. So
Not bad
it's
for
a
9
fairly
fingers.
basic song from their catalog, but I love it. It's actually my 5th favorite Sabbath song of all time, but it slides in at number 4 because of the significance of that band with me. And actually, the Master of Reality album, Children of the Grave, is another great track off that, which made my extended list, but did not crack the top 4.
So what camp are you in? Are you in the camp that Led Zeppelin was the first heavy metal band, or it's Black Sabbath is the first heavy metal band?
I don't give it a lot of thought, to tell you the truth, but if I had to pick, I don't know. Maybe Sabbath? I don't know. Like to me, it's different, right? Because Jimmy plays acoustic stuff. and Sabbath never did, right? Like they didn't sway. They're heavy all the time, minus changes and a couple other tracks that are maybe a little milder, but they're always dirty and heavy. And I don't know. I fell in love with them probably when I was, it's funny, we did Van Halen last episode, but right around the time when I was starting to fall in love with Van Halen, this guy I was hanging out with, we were listening to Sabbath and Kiss and Where Did Jimmy Go? And Where Did Jimmy Go? Canadian band.
For those who are listening to the audio and not watching this, Jimmy decided just to leave for like 10 seconds.
He fell off his chair. He was little Jimmy.
Yeah, everybody's worried that I'm gonna do it. Hey, everybody's worried that I just fucking walk away.
He's been leaving all night.
But yeah, so I don't know. Like that's a good question. I guess I would lean more towards Sabbath, but
I'm with you with the Sabbath. I'd lean more Sabbath. I think Zeppelin's hard, but they're more bluesy hard.
Right.
So I used to be like you guys and say, or other people and say Zeppelin, right? Because that was the thing to say. And yeah, they did a lot of things people didn't do at the time. But we all know it's hard to play acoustic with only 4.5 fingers. So
yeah,
Sabbath only played heavy stuff. And plus they had a darker sound too that I think is really more the heavy metal-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, I say dirty.
No one at the time really had at all.
Yeah, it was like the dark goth, if you want gothy fucking like
right.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to.
Before that even existed, kind of, right?
Yeah, the only band I can think of another dark sound at the time would be like the Doors, and they were nothing like those two bands.
Right.
They were dark, but yeah, Sabbath is dark in a different way.
Okay, this is going to end everything. Zeppelin had 3 songs about the Lord of the Rings. That's it. Metal.
That's your mic drop, dude.
With my creamy white wrist.
We're gonna stick to our revisionist history.
Right,
okay, we're gonna say Black Sabbath.
We'll revisit that later.
That's fine, but for somebody who isn't really into the Lord of the Rings, it doesn't really mean much to me. Sorry.
It just sounded good, damn it.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to shit on you then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so before I move on to my number 3.
Edit that out. We edit that out. It'd be fine.
Nothing gets edited.
Shit on everyone. Not literally, no hot Carls.
Imagine being named Carl too.
It's still early.
Can you imagine?
My name's
Right?
Joe, and I'm okay with Joe Cool, or Cup of Joe.
Cool's fine, but you don't want to
Even
be hot
Sloppy
Carl.
Joe.
Sloppy
I'm
Joe.
I'm not a hot Carl.
You're a sloppy Joe.
I totally am a Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe. Oh shit! All right, so before I move on to song 3, Jimmy, as the drummer in the group, I'm interested on your opinion of Bill Ward.
Absolutely adore Bill Ward. I mean, if I were to choose between the two that you gave the option of, I mean, John Bonham all day long.
Yeah.
That's how I started. But Bill Ward, he has this really cool slide. The way everything he does is kind of effortlessly, and he does a lot of swing time on top of metal. It's awesome.
Can we say it's almost creamy?
It's almost
No,
Almost.
no,
No, I
we
wouldn't
can't.
say that at all.
No.
But you can think it.
Chris, can I use your ice pick?
Sure.
The people that didn't watch episode 1 are like, "What are they talking?"
I was gonna say, if you want reference, go back to last issue and episode 1.
Last week.
FY, as per my last email.
All right, moving along. I'll move along to track 3 for me, or number 3 for me. It is Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. I'm a blue-eyed guy. It kind of spoke to me when I was a kid, when I got into The Who. I know that's so corny.
I got blue eyes.
But I don't know what it was like, and so many people, even people our age, that didn't know this song, that when Biscuit did the cover,
Love it.
Yeah,
right, it's a great cover, but they're like, I'm like, I didn't know that song before. Like, this song is amazing, right? Like, I think Roger's voice is incredible in it.
Yeah.
And it's my second favorite Who song after I Can't Explain. So, and I went through a huge.
Why can't
Who
you
phase.
explain?
Yeah, just
I
explain
can't-
to us, man.
I'll
That's what this
explain
show's
later.
about.
Right.
That's what we're here to do.
I'll explain later.
Gosh.
But yeah,
That's put on
so
the
and I
list.
went through a phase probably
Right.
in my
Diva.
tweens or teens of the Who, and revisit it
Me
from
too.
time to time. But
Yeah.
I love the song, so that's really it. Like, there's no other reason why that album, of course. Yeah, I was just gonna say, is phenomenal, right? And I'm sure if you guys have a Who song, there's probably a different one than the one I chose.
Yeah. I was gonna say, We Won't Get Fooled Again's on the same album. So yeah, same year.
Right, Bob O'Reilly's on that album.
O'Reilly's on the same album too,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
So we'll see if those come up later when you guys get to yours. But yeah, that's
The weird
my
thing-
number 3.
Yeah, the weird thing is I don't ever consider myself a Who fan, but
I am.
I like a lot of Who songs. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't even go my way to listen to Who, but I will never
Yeah.
turn a Who song off. So,
exactly. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I'm a through and through Keith Moon fan, and I mean, as a drummer, it's kind of hard
drummer,
not
you
to
kinda gotta be.
Shocking. The drummer, shocking. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crazy in the drums, crazy in life.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Well, crazy in death.
Like, I recorded Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy off a guy, and then just fell in love with all those older tracks too, right?
Yeah.
Happy Jack, and that's when I fell in love. Can't explain. I'll explain later.
By who?
Exactly.
Sorry, somebody had to do it. You had to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, talk to
okay,
me like
so-
I'm slow. Talk to me like I'm slow.
I already do.
Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
All right, I'll move along to number 2. This one's a pretty, and I say basic bitch, but this is my Zeppelin, and this is Misty Mountain Hop. And it, like, to me, it's why I fell in love with Zeppelin as a kid. And then, of course, everything else, every other song they have. But I know it's definitely on the radar. Like, I talked in the last episode about songs that, like, Unchained might be on Van Halen fans' list as skip that song. I've heard it too many times. I think Misty Mountain Hop's probably on that list for some people. It's the Shook Me All Night Long. It's the Welcome to the Jungle, like, enough already. But I still love it. It's grandfathered in. And it actually sits on my Zeppelin list. It's number 5. But that's how significant, like Sabbath, that band is with me. So when I did this year, I was like, oh, that's got to make the list. And then it just kept moving up. And of course, if you guys get to Zeppelin, like the Who, I know there's lots of other tracks from Zeppelin 4 that came out in 71 that could have made, and they're all on my extended list, but this is the only one I could get in my top 4.
It's a great song. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that song.
No.
You can't, right? And the theme, like you said about The Hobbit, is the Misty Mountains are from The Hobbit, right? And the lyrics are from that weed rally. Like, and I just learned this actually, so it's probably in my notes, which I didn't know. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't put it in my notes.
Fail.
You know
Anyway,
what
it
they
doesn't
say
matter.
about
Oh, no, I did put it in my notes. Yeah, I said, of course, the title they say is a reference to The Hobbit and the lyrics to a 68 pot rally in London. So,
They're going hand in hand, so it makes sense.
yeah, so they combined it, right?
Yeah, they
So,
really do.
I don't know what their obsession with The Hobbit and that kind of shit was, because Ramble On is my favorite Zeppelin song. You know
Love
what I
that
mean?
song.
So,
Yeah, it's a great song. But I think you
Anyway.
answered your own question when you said pot in the other side. I think that kind of answers the Lord of the Rings.
yeah, that probably does answer it, right? Like, let's burn another
Yeah.
one. Let's burn one now. Like,
Hobbit.
virtual pass. All right, so that brings me to number 1, and I'm going to show my Homer flag here. My number 1 is from the Guess Who, and it is Albert Flasher. The Guess Who is my favorite Canadian band of all time. Sorry,
Really?
Sorry, Hip, Rush, Blue Rodeo, Triumph fans from Canada.
Michael J. Fox.
I love the Guess Who even before I moved to Winnipeg. I love Burton, although he's a bit of a cheese stick. And he's terrible now. We saw him a year and a half ago here at the Burton Cummings Theater, his own theater. And Katie was like, oh my God. And we'd seen him 2 or 3 times in Ontario. Oh my God, he's terrible. I'm like, he's terrible. We should, like, it was almost leave ready, but we sat through it.
Like Vince Neil bad?
No, not that bad, but
Okay.
nothing's that bad.
He's
Right?
actually
But I love Crew,
enunciating
but
the
nothing is
word.
as bad as Vince, right? Terrible. But no,
It's
I love
actually-
this
Why are you
song.
swearing at him, Joe?
Right, right. No one's that bad ever. People leave.
But
Like
I
people
look-
walk out of Crew concerts, which is hilarious, right? You pay all that money and then fuck this.
I have a question for
Vince
you.
isn't going to be a fan of this podcast. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Well, I was gonna
Hey,
say if you're
hey.
gonna can all the things that they can, which apparently is all the instruments, and then one thing they should can, which is the vocals, and they don't.
Right?
Weird.
Well,
Anyhow,
hey, Dink, I have a question for you. I want you to school me on the Guess Who, because I mean I can think of one song.
yeah, I can take 2 or 3, but yeah, I'm not, and that radio hits,
And those are American Woman in These Eyes.
Yeah.
American
But I
Woman.
mean, so what album would you suggest somebody check out? What Guess Who album would be like the one to check out?
Well, that's funny. Albums off the top of my head, I don't really like. There's probably 4 or 5 that are worth. They have a ton of a massive catalog and a ton of songs stretched out over a bunch of albums. But I can definitely. I don't have anything off the top of my head without doing a Google search right now, which I'm not.
But in this era, though, probably like the early to mid 70s.
Yeah, like this Albert Flasher is actually a B-side. So it wasn't even a released hit, or it was a release hit or a release song in 71, but it wasn't even like supposed to be a big hit, right? So they've got a ton of tracks that you probably have heard. No Sugar Tonight, Guns, Guns, Guns.
Yep.
Oh, I know that song.
Sour,
Okay.
Sour Sweet. Like you'd be surprised. You'd be like, oh, I didn't know that was. And Burton's got a big solo catalog, and of course,
Yes,
Randy,
he's got a
the
huge
guitarist,
solo
went and formed BTO, and he's got Taking Care of Business. And
I'm
Let
not
It
a
Ride
huge
and-
fan, but he's got a massive catalog.
I
Right.
did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's awesome. I'm gonna do a little deep dive. Thank you for sharing with that.
If
You
you
know
like
the legend-
piano bluesy rock, like that's not
Yeah.
it's not heavy at all. Like
Yeah.
it's actually heavier when they split when Randy formed BTO. That they have a little more guitar riffs in BTO than they ever did in the Guess Who, right? It's really piano driven from Burton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me just say this before all you classic rock fans or God forbid Guess Who fans rip on Jimmy and I for not knowing these things.
No,
We
well,
know the
yeah,
hits.
that's fine.
We all get in our little silos and we listen to what we listen to, and we never venture off. At least I don't know.
And they broke in your country, but they broke with certain songs, and then other songs, like you said, they were probably you
And a
heard
bunch
them.
of hits here, but
Didn't even realize that was
and even though I like all those radio songs, I've never actively sought them out, and I probably should.
Yeah.
Well,
See,
and I grew up
that's
in an
really-
area where I'm not a huge fan of the Guess Who, but I grew up in an area where you couldn't not hear them. Classic rock in my area, and it'd be a lot of Canadian content. Burton Cummings solo stuff. BTO would be on Much Music. It'd be on Rock 95 and Barry all the time. Like you couldn't not hear it. I don't necessarily know it because I'm not a huge fan of it, but if you
But
play
you've
it,
heard them all.
I'll know exactly who it is as soon as you start playing it.
In fact, after they got back together, because it split, obviously, when Burton went solo in the 70s and Randy did BTO. And then Burton's BTO kind of fizzled out. Burton's career went into the 80s, solo stuff. And then they got back together in the 90s. I think it was here in Winnipeg at the Pan Am Games. They did a special gig of getting back together in their hometown, and then they toured, right? Because all the guys were like, were reunited, the thing. So they came to Kitchener, where I used to live.
Yeah.
And I said to Katie, because we were dating, we weren't even married yet. I said we should go see the Guess Who. And she's like, she said the same thing you guys said. What, like American Woman in These Eyes? I don't know all their songs. And then we went. And she's like, I know every single one of these songs. I'm like, yes, you do.
I believe it, yeah.
Yes, you do. And so then they split, fought over the name, band members suing band members, and Randy and Burton, who were the original feuders, are now reunited. They toured as Bachman and Cummings all through Canada, I think in the US as well. And they still fought over the name. I don't know who owns the rights to the name now. I think it was the drummer, who's awesome in this song that I'm referencing, of course. Yeah, the drummer got the rights, man.
Jimmy likes the drums.
So, Dink, is it true? Like I used to hear this urban legend that American Woman was ad lib. Do you remember hearing this story? And then like
Yes, I did hear
somebody
that story.
bootlegged it, and they got a copy of the bootleg, and that's the only way they could actually record it because they
Because
kind of did it off the cuff.
they had lost the original or something. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. No,
There's
I did
a
hear the
version
similar
of-
story.
There's a version of that story for In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida too.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. I did hear that. Yep.
And in fact, American Woman is definitely in the Misty Mountain Hop, Shook Me All Night Long.
Yeah.
Enough of that shit category. You know what
Okay,
I mean?
so on that, real quick,
Even Lenny's version,
How
like enough already. Like
how much does the song suffer that it was played so much because so many people loved it and got played to death, and now people are just like it now loses its ranking, even though that ranking should still be up here because it's that song. One song was the most played song by that band, but
that sounds like a topic for a future show. Like for sure, there's so many of those songs. Like I don't want to hear that song maybe for the rest of my life, but I love that band and I actually like that song. But myself have killed it. The radio's killed it. My friends have killed it. Videos have killed it.
Yeah.
Ton of those. I got a ton of those.
Me too.
And that reminds me, if somebody who's listening to the show right now or watching the show, if you have an idea for a topic, just let us know. Our name is Just Pod at whatever it may be. Just Pod at Twitter.com.
Just Ranked Pod. It's just
ranked. I'm
Ranked
sorry,
Pod.
Just Ranked Pod. Okay, there you go.
Did you say Just
Pod.
Pod?
You want
Yeah, I
to
did.
get it
That's
right.
the second show.
If you want me to get it
Just
right, I'll get
Ranked
it right.
Pod.
Just
On
Pod.
every platform, find us, messages, comment. Just let us know what you want to hear, what your topic is.
Okay, so I've taken up a lot of time here on this Canadian
No, hold
stuff.
on.
So,
You got one more honorable mention.
yeah, honorable mention. I'll just rattle off 3 quickly because I really struggled with when I did my list to come up with the 5th spot. So in my 5th spot is Cat Stevens' Peace Train, but Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine is a very close 6. And my favorite Alice Cooper song, Is It My Body, is number 7. So those are my 3 honorable mentions. I love Alice Cooper. I really
Great
wanted him
songs.
to be in the list, but he didn't make it. That's it.
All right. Well, that hands it off to you there, Joe.
Okay. I'm going to make some people angry with this list. Second episode.
right.
Here we go.
Bring on the
Van
Captain and
Halen
Tennille.
3 did not come out in 1971.
Captain and Tennille.
Prince Dirty Mind did not come out in 19 so here's the deal. So anyone who knows me knows I'm not a big classic rock guy. I love Zeppelin, I love Hendrix. I love Black Sabbath. I love Bowie. I fucking love David Bowie.
Yep.
But when I made this list, I made a list of 44 tracks. I'm like, okay, here's all the tracks that I really love. Now, most people would go, okay, I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to pick some different songs. Number 5 for me. Number 5 for me is Changes by David Bowie.
Yeah.
They're very.
That's not that different. That was not
No.
That's far off.
No. By the time I'm done with
it up.
No.
Change it up.
No, hold on a second. By the time I'm done with my segment, you'll know where I was coming from. Okay, trust me.
So that's your number 4.
This was known as a teaser. I love Bowie. There's very few artists I consider an actual innovator. Hendrix is an innovator. Zeppelin innovator. Prince a fucking genius. David Bowie a fucking genius. No one sounds like Bowie. No one could try to sound like Bowie musically. Even when he had Ron Wood. Yes, Ron Wood had his place there, whatever else. But Bowie, when Bowie sings or Bowie writes a song, it sounds like a Bowie song. I don't know if it's from the 70s or fucking his last album, man. It sounds like Bowie.
Which was amazing, by the way.
His last album, dude, it was heartbreaking because if you listen to it knowing he was going to die,
Right.
and put in that context, and the guy was just a genius and didn't let anybody know. I mean, if you watch the documentary, you'll know that the band he hired, he had in the previous album as well for his last album, had no idea he was sick. He
some
did.
of his albums that don't get all the men, like Glass Spider and like
yeah.
Glass
But I will
Spider
say
was
this.
pretty awesome.
He had some hits before Changes. He did. He had a few hits before Changes, but I consider Changes
Ziggy Stardust.
Well, yeah, yep. I mean, he was big into the psychedelics and the glam rock, but I consider Changes his first real pop song. Yeah, it's a rock song, but it's really a pop song. I think that's when Bowie kind of found the pop Bowie. He kind of went away from it again with most of that album, because Hunky Dory is a great album. It's one of my favorite Bowie albums, but it's changes to me. It sounds completely different than the rest of the album. He's got that voice, man. He's just got the way he carries himself. I can picture him when he's singing on just listening to it. I can picture what he's doing with, standing there.
Yeah.
I can hear his emotion in his voice. Bowie, again, I'm attracted to singers that don't have perfect voices. Bowie does not have a perfect voice at all, but he's got the perfect voice, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And
that's why you have a boner for Sting too, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, trust me, if we do a Sting list or if we do an 80s list, guess what? There's going to be probably 2 people on that list.
Right.
No, but yeah, Changes was a big thing for me, even though I was younger. But Changes of the first Bowie song I remember hearing was sung, and I was born in 72. So I probably heard 75, 70, or I'm trying to say 77, 78, when I really started grasping onto artist names.
Right.
It was Bowie, and amazing guy. It's heartbreaking. We lost both him and Prince both in the same year within 2 months of each other. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Number one, no one knew he was sick. No one knew he was sick. And no one knew Prince was a drug addict.
Was it though?
Hold on. Little tear.
One single tear.
One single tear. Number 4 for me. Now I want to pick my 1971. This is the best tracks of 1971. Okay. I had to pick the best tracks in 1971. Number 3 would be When a Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. Number 1, it's a cover. It's very similar to the cover if you listen to the cover, and the vocals are very similar. But dude, the fucking drums on that, the production on that, the drums are famously recorded in Headley Grange, and I mean, no drums sound like the drums. And I think, if I remember the story correctly, that Page didn't want the drums recorded there. No, the producer didn't want the drums recorded there, but Bond was set on, no, we're recording the drums. It sounds big here. We're going to great sound. Just when the song starts out, it's like, oh shit, here we go. This is what it is. And remind you, this is a guitarist talking about drums. So,
yeah.
Number 2, again, we're talking about best songs 1971. Number 2, Going to California with an Aching in My Heart by Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
This song is weird because it's a sad song. This song is fucking depressing. I could be in the best
whole album's depressing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying the mood, and when I hear this song, I could be the best mood, dude. I could be in the top of the world. I hear this song,
great song,
I'll never turn it off, and it just brings me down to like, God damn, dude, where was he at where were these guys at? Because it was him and Page. They're paired down. It's just Page's guitar. It's just Plant's vocals at his best. It's not, I don't want to say depressing. It's so sad. You can't turn it off. You can't, it's not like looking at a car crash or anything like that. You just want to hear the story, even though you've heard it 1,000 times before, and you can picture it in your head, and no other band could have written that song like they wrote that song.
Well, the part that really brings in the heartache is that English folk singer that they got, the female singer, to sing those secondary parts. Yeah. That's where it's just like, oh my God, this is pain.
And that was one of the rare parts they ever had an external member sing or play a part ever in all their recordings.
You know what else really brings on the heartache?
Let's have Def Leppard.
Yeah, another Def Leppard reference.
Sorry, my brain went somewhere else. Oh, Def Leppard.
And which version are you? Version 1 or version 2?
Yeah, I got them both.
On this version.
Jim's got the one arm going.
But seriously though, man, I mean, it's hard to, I think, to write a sad song without being sappy or cliche, and that song is none of that at all. This song might surprise you, not surprise you, because we just got done talking about songs being played to death. But the best song of all time in 1971, and no one convinced me otherwise, is a song no one ever wants to hear again, and that's "Stairway to Heaven."
Wow, 3 Zeppelin.
Yeah, well,
no, that's
You
fine.
guys,
no, I'm just saying. And here's the deal: you have
Definitely on
Yes
that
that
don't
year.
play it again list, but it's awesome.
You have Yes that year. You have the Who that year. You have the Guess Who that year. You have Black Sabbath. You have Jimi Hendrix's first posthumous record released that year.
LA Woman, yeah.
I mean, dude, it's a great year. But when I sat down, I actually listened to all these songs. I'm going through. I'm like, God, man, I'm telling you, personally, there's not a song besides Changes that's better than any song on Led Zeppelin 4. Which,
it's true.
fun
really.
story, categorically for Atlantic Records is known as Led Zeppelin Untitled.
Yes.
So,
it had
but
4 working titles. Yeah. Well, the irony here is when Joe and I first met when we were little whippersnappers, he fucking hated Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I was the same way when Dink and I met. Remember, I didn't like Led Zeppelin.
Chris liked them that much.
Yeah, I did not like them. In fact, I was going to sell you my Led Zeppelin box set.
Yeah,
blasphemy.
Right. That's what I thought.
I saw the light. I came across. Don't worry.
I never said it's smart when I was young.
I did a lot of stupid shit. Trust me.
Yeah, shit.
None of us did. None of us did.
Oh yeah, no.
For the record, I did nothing illegal. I'm not sure what the statutory what the statutes are.
Did you just say statutory?
What's the word for it? What's the statute of limitations? That's what I was thinking of. There you go.
I don't know how many statutory charges I have.
I have no statutory charges, 0.
Your Honor, there was no statutory.
I don't know what the statute of limitations on that is, but we'll find out. No, but seriously, I can't think of another song that's better than. I mean, we've heard it ad nauseum. But here's the deal: I hadn't listened to it in years, dude. Because when
you've been listening to it a while and throw it on, it's so good.
When I listen to 4,
really good.
I generally kind of skip it.
So many fucking high school dances ended on that song.
Oh yeah, that was a real.
I listened to that song.
Oh
is
my God,
perfect. The progression from where that song starts and where the middle is and where it ends.
Right.
Every anthem.
No, it's an amazing song. Absolutely. Yeah.
I will say this. Go ahead.
No, it's 2 different songs.
It is.
It's like watching Stripes. Stripes is 2 different movies.
Yeah.
You got the beginning, which is this beautiful orchestrated movement, and then there's just thrown at you at the second half. It's a beautiful piece.
And again, I think a lot of it's revisionist history too. I think a lot of it is too. We've heard that song a billion times. You don't remember what it was like hearing that song for the first time ever. Like, do you remember seeing Star Wars for the first time? Do you remember seeing The One Thing You Love so much right now the very first time?
Right.
Yeah.
If I think of anthems, I'm going to tell you right now, I think of 3 songs. And we can probably just a list for later on down the road. But I think of Stairway to Heaven, I think of Hotel California, and I think of Purple Rain.
Oh, sorry.
No, I know. There's certain bands we don't talk about.
No, Voldemort. You don't.
One has wings. We're not talking about wings. No, I literally think it's a quintessential anthem. I think it's the first anthem. I think it's the
right. And as much as you don't want to talk about the Eagles, Hotel California is right there with it, right?
Like, yeah. Hey, do what? Yeah, it gets saved because it has Joe Walsh. No, but that's my number 1 pick. To change things up a little bit for my honorable mention, I'm going with Black Dog.
You get the whole album in there, like shit. But I gave you Misty Mountain Hop. If we get something named Battle of Evermore, we get the whole fucking album.
I got personally, besides Changes, I don't think there's a better songs than those songs right there.
Wait till you hear my list.
So my honorable mentions technically are Black Dog by Led Zeppelin and All Are Fragile by Yes, because I love Yes. I love Yes from 70s. I love Yes from the 80s. Give me that poppy shit. I don't care. I fucking love it. But
Fragile,
Black Dog
Fragile.
and Rock and Roll, which was they're kind of like I almost consider them sister songs. They are quintessential rock and roll songs. You know,
They really are.
You know, they were the next level after rock and roll. They're the next heavy metal songs. Black Dog encompasses all of that, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd go out of my comfort zone and pick a different thing for my honorable mention.
Excellent.
All right, Chris, let's hear your Led Zeppelin list.
Funny you should say that. My number 4 is When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, you already said it, right? Like
It's the perfect album.
the drums, man. That's what did it for me when I heard that for the first time. I'm air drumming in my fucking room with the ice pick.
With the ice
in
pick.
the door. With the ice pick in the door.
Ice pick back.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Excuse me.
don't know what to say.
I absolutely agree with everything that's been said so far.
And do what, like I said, for guitars to
Agreed.
say the drums, dude, the drums make that song, man. I mean, it's the entire song. Obviously, you need everything to make a song what it is, right? But
Right.
those drums are so different and so big and so bombastic.
It's
Jesus.
pretty close to being on the overkill list for me.
I know
to be
it's not
honest.
the
Like,
first Led Zeppelin song I listened to, but it's the first one I can remember listening to.
There
I
you
think
go.
I killed it
That's
for
why.
myself.
Yeah.
And that says a lot right there. That's
And I didn't
Yeah.
when we started doing this, I didn't I don't remember what songs were released in 1971. When I look back, I'm like, there's so many fucking good songs, so many
Right,
good
so many
albums.
good songs.
And
Like,
as a big Pink Floyd fan, I didn't pick any in the top 4.
nope.
Really? Metal came out 71.
I know.
I
wow.
was the same with you, Chris. I'm like, wow, I don't have any Floyd. Like, and I'm sure if we get into like later episodes when we do other years in the 70s, there's certainly going to be some Floyd.
But again,
Oh yeah.
I love older Floyd, but again, I got into Floyd for me at momentary lapse of reason. So again, late in the game,
Wow.
and then backtrack.
Okay.
right? So I got in that's when I really started to get into Pink Floyd. But anyways, I'm getting off topic.
No, but I don't think that's atypical though. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people that got on that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's not off topic. It's the literal topic that we're doing.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. True. So my number 3 is another double. Is Behind Blue Eyes by The Who.
Nice.
Good song.
I just really like the way it starts slow and builds. I like the vocals. I love the guitar. I love the drumming. Everything
Yeah.
about it. It's one of my favorite Who songs. And again, I'm not a big Who fan, but again, I don't turn them off the radio when they come on.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, same as before. And then the second one is where I get off a little bit from everybody else. Is I Love to Change the World by 10 Years After. Sorry,
Nice. It's on my extended list. Great tune.
right.
Wow.
I just
that was
love
like
the way,
song
like
number
at one point, the acoustic guitar and electric guitar are playing together, and I just love
Yeah.
the way that mixes together in the middle.
Yep.
Like again, it wasn't even about the lyrics when I first started listening to it, but when I went back again, I didn't realize it was a 71 song, but I just love the way that song plays so well, so much that
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
It is good. Sadly,
And
I have
then-
it at 32, but it is still on my list.
I
I love it. I still love it. I love all those
on
video
your
clips.
list.
So my number 1 song is Wild Horses by the Stones.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a good song.
Having said that, my favorite version of that song is by the Sundays,
Wow.
Ah,
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about that
Really?
version.
which was done in 92, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
very good.
so-
version,
Like, I really love that song because I had heard, again, the Stones, and I love the Stones version, but my favorite version isn't actually 71. It's actually the 92 version by the Sundays. That's my favorite version.
yeah. I forgot about that.
That's
It's a good call.
impressive.
Yeah, I like that.
And it was in the movie Fear with Reese Witherspoon. That's when I got a real
Yes.
crush on her.
You're
I got a
right.
huge
Mark
crush on her
Wahlberg.
after that movie, right?
Yeah, some
Yeah, Wahlberg,
heavy
yeah.
petting on the roller coaster. Yes.
Right.
Who do you have a bigger crush on, Jack Nicholson now or 1972?
Now,
No.
I have 3
Pardon?
honorable mentions.
Let's hear 'em.
One is Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies.
That's a fucking amazing song.
Yeah, it's a very good
Again,
song.
I love the drum. I love the intro, man. That hooked me right away. I love the way it goes. One of my girlfriends in high school, that was her dad's favorite song. I used to listen to it quite a bit. Anyways, Riders on the Storm is big for me with the Doors. That almost made the top 4. But the big one for me that is way out of my league, and I forgot it was in 71, and my sister was a huge fan of him, is Mercy Mercy Me by Marvin Gaye.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Good
down
track, dude. Good track.
Yeah, I love that song. I love his voice. I love the way it sings. I didn't realize what it was about until recently, but yeah, I just love that song.
Dude, so many good albums that you had Slide and Family Stone come out that year too. You had
There's
Funkadelic.
so much, yeah.
So much. I mean, such a wide breadth of music come out in 71. You don't at least I didn't realize it was specifically that year until we were doing this episode.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And remember when
when
we were messaging back and forth about years? So
Yeah.
it's funny that you brought up the Hollies, Chris, because when I rolled into 72, I have the Hollies in my top 4, like Long Cool Woman, for 72. Which is fun, right? There's a crossover there, like release date problems. So
album versus release date.
yeah, so
right,
we'll probably, when we get to 72, which could be 70 shows from now, we'll hear it again, and we'll have forgotten everything creamy from the past.
You never forget Creamy, man.
Right.
I only looked at the album release date, so
right. So I'll probably bring up that one again because I'm with you. I fucking love that song.
Absolutely,
it's my number 2 in 72. Like, so
it's on a playlist that I play once a week.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Like anything classic, anything older, I'm putting it on every friggin' list I ever make. Right. So
yeah. My wife and I have been playing the Hollies' greatest hits every Saturday lately.
Nice.
And,
Air That I Breathe, like it's probably awesome.
It's a beautifully written album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it comes to me with the actual songs. Are you guys ready for the actual?
the actual song?
We're just the preamble. The pre-show, if you will.
You guys were just the amuse-bouche to the actual.
Wow, look at him! Wow.
I'm honored to be called an amuse-bouche.
Didn't realize you were a learned man.
Oh, I'm special. That's true. So no, actually, there special. So there was a lot of crossover. There was a lot of crossover stuff here that we all kind of.
Zeppelin.
Well,
I was trying to
always crossover, right?
Move that over there. So all right. With no further ado, I'm going to go with number 4. If you've ever seen this video, the drummer is the highest human ever on earth while he's playing the drums. And you really need to see this video to appreciate what I'm talking about. And it's Ain't No Sunshine, Bill Withers. It's one of the greatest, most beautiful songs that's ever been written. And you have to see this really high drummer.
I was like, Keith Moon?
No. Honestly, to me, like,
I know.
And that's the part I'm talking about. He's just like,
Dude, it's such a good song. Such a good song.
What's really cool about this song for me musically is there's 2 guitars playing. There's what Bill's playing, which and there's this beautiful jazz arpeggiation going on, just like going over that, and it's fucking beautiful over this just sad song. And that's number 4. This easily could have been number 1 for me, but this was a really hard list to do, and I had to put it at number 4. Number 3.
Track. Yeah, very good.
Number 3. One of the reasons that I locked myself in a basement without a creamy wrist or an ice pick was to learn this song, and it's Baba O'Reilly.
Oh, nice.
Again.
Oh my God. I spent hours upon hours, even after I learned it, it ended up being my warm-up song for about 5 or 6 years. Just beautiful. It's one of the greatest songs that's ever been written, and it made me fall in love with the Who. I mean, there's no more notes to that.
That's the thing, though. I think you're also in an era too where everyone was a phenomenal musician.
Right.
And
There's so many good musicians.
Yeah, and I think it gets lost down because now you have 5-year-olds who are playing shit that I still can't play, right? But
yeah,
I mean, but I think people throw away the fact you're an amazing musician, but you're also writing incredible music, and that's two different things. They don't come in hand. They don't. They're two
not
different,
always.
two different
No
abilities. Yeah, they're two different abilities.
Yeah. And number 3 is one of my favorite artists of all time, and it's What's Going On. Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to get some Marvin in there.
Mine was close.
Yeah,
Mine was right underneath Led Zeppelin 4.
When we all do our talking and ranking, and I talk about Marvin Gaye all the time, this is easily probably the most badass bass line you've never heard in your life. If you ever get the chance to put the headphones on and listen to this song at kind of a louder volume, this bass line is just moving. It's flowing. It's actually controlling the whole rhythm of the song on top of this beautiful voice, and it's fucking smooth. That's one of the smoothest songs that's ever been written. Yeah,
agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. Are you ready?
I'm waiting.
When the fucking levee breaks.
No, there it is again.
The reason.
I'm the only one that didn't pick it.
The reason that I locked myself, the number 1 reason.
The guitar?
The first year of playing drums, I locked myself in the basement for a summer to learn the catalog of Zeppelin. And I kept stopping at this, and I kept going. And it's such a full sound. It's beautiful. And oh my God, the most powerful thing drum-wise, one of the most powerful things drum-wise that I've ever heard or learned. And I'm going to quote someone. Someone famously who famously said that it's probably one of the best drum recordings of all times. After hearing it, it was a wake-up call, and decided to change his style of drumming, and that was Phil Collins.
Wow.
If you would have asked me who said that, I was going to say Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. Well,
I was going to say Lars. Fuck you, Lars.
And there goes the Metallica fans.
Eat shit,
God, I hate Lars. Right. But yeah, that's my list. I mean, I have an honorable mention that's probably one of the most beautiful songs ever written, and it's Maggie May. If you've ever had the opportunity to put the headphones on to this song, there is like 500 things. Well, not 500, like probably 10 things going on at any given moment. So fluid, changing back and forth. And that mandolin solo, which he never got paid for, is beautiful. Maggie May it's a beautiful, I love that song. So I'm actually getting kind of emotional at this list because it's so empowering to me. So, I apologize, but this is a great year for music.
And a great year for you because it was the year you were born, right?
80, so that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I mean, it was the year I was born. And when I brought this up, I was like, hey, we should do the years we were born. And it ended up sticking to 71. So right on. Best year ever. But all right, so
was it?
It really was.
When one album superseded everything else.
Right. When it was really the year of Zeppelin.
So okay, just real quick, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna name like 10 albums, maybe less, that were released in 1971. I'm gonna start with Janis Joplin, Pearl.
Yep.
Joni Mitchell, Blue.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know this. Joni Mitchell was Prince's favorite artist.
Really?
And Blue, and he would cover A Case of You all the time. Yeah, he fucking. The only time, from what people were around Prince, the only person he got nervous around was Joni Mitchell.
Wow.
Yeah. And okay, we've named a bunch of other albums that everyone's heard, but the Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
The Doors, LA Woman.
LA Woman, yeah.
John Lennon, Imagine. Jethro Tull, Aqualung. I
I
mean,
was
those
just
are.
going to say, you better say Aqualung.
Yeah,
There's-
the quintessential.
Because I got Locomotive Breath and Aqualung just a little bit further down on my list. Like, love Jethro Tull.
Yeah. Doing
Skin
my
clear.
research, there was like 5 or 6 sites that said that 1971 was the greatest year in rock, and I kind of believe it with all this music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say it's one of the greatest years in music, just because, like I said, what we're talking about is such a breadth of music. When you have everything from Funkadelic and Sly and the Family Stone, and you have Marvin Gaye, and you got Led Zeppelin, you got Black Sabbath, and you got Yes, and the Who, and the Guess Who. It's like, I mean, Janis Joplin. It's amazing. It's a sick quantity of incredible artists in one year that released amazing albums.
And it wasn't just a couple songs; it was like albums, like whole works of art. That I mean, I think I forgot to mention
different genres. Yeah.
Carole King Tapestry was also.
I was just going to say Tapestry came out in 71 too. Like,
yeah,
and I was just saying about this one. I literally just saw this now that if we're thinking about this, a lot of these styles of music were brand new by then. I mean, funk was not a thing before Funkadelic and Sly and the Family Stone.
Magic Brain came out.
Hard rock or heavy metal wasn't a thing before Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. I mean, and then you still get the folk singers like Janis Joplin breaking through, and it's like, man, you got a lot of not only great musicians and great songs and great albums, but actually brand new styles of music that didn't exist.
The Carpenters,
right?
Yeah,
and the Carpenters. You mentioned the Carpenters. Yeah.
Right.
And you still had Simon and Garfunkel. I mean, it was
right.
Towards the end of folk,
and no one mentioned Billy Joel. She's Got Away.
No one should ever mention Billy Joel.
Well, yeah, I got to prefer different BJs, but
well, all right, guys. You guys have anything else to add to episode 2, 1971?
I think we said everything, man.
I don't think so. Like, a lot of Zeppelin and other things.
I mean, all Zeppelin, according to Joe.
and Bowie.
And Bowie.
That is some massive crossover, though. Like, that's a lot of Zeppelin. That was good. And I almost put 2 in because going.
Well, I lost sound there for a second, so I started laughing.
Yeah, we lost Dink.
Laughing.
Did you lose me?
All right.
We lost him for a second.
Thank you so much for joining us on episode 2. This was amazing, and I want you guys to keep coming back. Please please tell all of your friends. Please subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you more idiocy for episode 3. Anyone else?
Just find us at Just Ranked Pod on every single platform. Send us suggestions for subjects too.
Yeah, let us know what you want to hear about.
Yep. And we will not do it.
Especially if it's Billy Joel or the Eagles.
It is all Guess Who all of the time.
No, right. Clap for the Wolfman, boys. Clap for the Wolfman.
Well, right on. Thank you, guys. I guess that's it for us.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.